I was worried and freaking out for good reason. I was driving as fast as I could in that little rental Hyundai from San Luis Obispo down to LA to make sure I can get there in time, drop off the rental, find a cab, and then get over to Long Beach for my flight to get back to Florida as quick as possible. Needless to say, when I got to the airport, I missed my flight. The door closed and I could not get on a plane. I literally saw the door close and it was done. I had to spend hours and talking and my wife helping out and finally finding another flight. But the problem was this flight was back at LAX. So I had to pay another $50 in cab fee to get over there. It was a long evening, a long red eye, and a tiring next day. We all have these travel stories. And on today's episode, my friend Kristen is going to tell us a story about her experience. And oh my goodness, it makes mine look so easy. Check it out. This episode is brought to you in part by TSE Certified Sales Training Program. It's a program designed to help sales rep and sales team to improve their skills. Teaches you how to find the right customers, what activities, what strategies work, how you go about asking the right questions to build strong value, and what you need to do to close more deals. If you want to test it out for yourself, go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course to get the first 2 modules absolutely free. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course. This episode is also brought to you in part by Audible. Knowing that you're a savvy salesperson, you're here, you want to learn, you want to grow. Check out Audible. They have thousands of titles that you can choose from. Take advantage of the 30-day free trial as well as a free book. Simply go to audibletrial.com/TSE. Again, audibletrial.com/TSE. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have a great guest today. Her name is Kristen Estrada, and she is a sales rep with SAP's Concur. And my goodness, she has some stories about travel. And no matter what kind of sales you're in, you probably have traveled before. But if you are in a role where you travel a lot because of sales, you know the headaches that come with it. Well, this tool that they use, Concur, it's fabulous. But today we're going to talk about her experience and why we as traveling sellers should consider taking advantage of tools that can help us. Listen to her experience. Welcome to the show, Kristen.
Thank you for having me.
Oh man, I am so stoked to have you. I know you're going to give us some great insights today. I was bragging about you in the introduction there, and I shared with them my horror story when I was traveling as a sales rep and how awful the experience can be. And it's fun traveling, but sometimes it's not all that great. But before we dive into all the fun stuff there, Kristen, I want you to tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Great. Thank you. Kristen Estrada with SAP Concur. I'm a regional sales executive covering the South Florida area. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm born and raised here, and I've been in sales for over 20 years, selling everything from consumable products, skincare, laser hair removal, legal research, and now to a wonderful cloud-based software with SAP Concur.
That is awesome. Well, this is going to be cool. So you've probably had 1 or 2 experience where you've traveled, right?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Well, let's tell us about it, because I mentioned to the folks before that you had one that was real bad. Was it you told me about a Dubai experience, is that correct?
Correct.
So what happened? Yes. What brought you to Dubai? Why were you going there? Was SAP or what was going on?
No, I worked for a small business here in Bloomington, Minnesota, a beauty company. And that job took me all over the globe. I was really fortunate to have visited many different countries, and I was super stoked to go to Dubai. I'd never been there before. I was the only female on my team, as I was in many of my sales jobs. And even in the beauty industry, you would think I would there would be more females on my team. But for this particular trip, the gentlemen I traveled with, they did speak Arabic. They were great team members to travel with. But on this particular trip, I didn't feel super welcomed by the city and the residents of Dubai. I kind of didn't feel comfortable as a woman in that culture, in that country. I explored a little bit on my own, did some local shopping, hung out with my male colleagues. We went to the tallest tower and had a beer overlooking the city. And it was a cool experience. But then I fell sick. I lost my voice. I don't know what happened. I got a really bad fever, but I had to work. I had to be at a trade show all day long talking to people who wanted to potentially buy our products. All I wanted to do was go home to my own bed. So the very last day of the trade show, I thought my flight had left at 11 p.m. that evening. And this was back in the day of paper ticketing and nothing is on your phone. So it was very much like, let me get out my folder and find my itinerary. So I packed up my suitcase that morning to head to the trade show. I checked out of my hotel. I was, breaking down our trade show booth with my male colleagues. And I said, I'm off to the airport, guys. We'll see ya. They were leaving the next day. I didn't think anything of it. So I just got to the airport. And I was shocked when I found out that my flight did not leave until the next evening at 11 p.m. So I had gotten the dates screwed up. I think I was so excited to just leave and go back home that I was off by one day. Okay, so I started crying. I was asking if there's any way I could get on this flight. There was definitely space on the flight. And of course, they nickeled and dimed me and said, yeah, you can get on the flight for $1,500. Oh. Well, I knew my employer was not going to pay for that. So I almost just thought of putting it on a credit card and just getting out of Dodge. But I sucked it up and I said, I'll go back to my hotel, sleep it off. I'll just take the next flight that I was supposed to be on the following evening. Well, when I got to my hotel, the hotel was full. I didn't speak Arabic. They weren't helpful. I was not able to get into my room. I called my male colleague and I said, can I just stay with you? I mean, we were good buds. So, but when you think of staying with a male colleague, it's probably not the most comfortable situation, right? I was literally desperate. I didn't know what to do. So he called and spoke Arabic to the hotel and got me back into my same room. I don't know what he did. Maybe it was because I was female in this country. Again, I didn't feel like I was getting a lot of help or support. So got back into my hotel, slept until 2 p.m. the next day and left the latest checkout I could and just headed to the airport and came back home. So, wow, not the best experience. In fact, people were like, oh my God, how did you like Dubai? Was it awesome? Actually, it really wasn't. I don't want to go back. And I feel bad about that because I'm sure a lot of people have great experiences there.
My goodness. What was it like? I mean, as far as your overall business experience with Dubai, did you guys get anything benefit from it? Was there any leads or any opportunities that came to the organization?
There was, and there always is. We met great prospects at the trade show. We always connected with companies that were right next to us at the trade show booth. I mean, I sold products off of the trade show floor. So from that aspect, it was a successful show. But just from the comfort of a traveling employee, I didn't feel supported by my company. I didn't feel supported by, the hotel I was staying at. I really felt lost. And I was a young woman. I mean, I was probably in my late 20s at that point.
Hey, I know it's getting great, but we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, Kristen's going to continue to share with us her experience and how you can fix some of these experiences as a sales rep or a sales leader. You're listening to the Sales Evangelist podcast, and I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. The other day, we asked in our Facebook group, why did you get involved in sales? Why did you choose this career path? And for me, there were several reasons. One, I wanted to make money, and this was a great opportunity to make a lot of money. Instead of getting a static, simple $30,000, $40,000 a year salary, I could make a lot more. But the problem was I wasn't making a lot more when I first started in sales. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And then I was led to a course who taught me that I didn't need to try to make money. I needed to try to bring value. And I learned the process of bringing value. And next thing you know, I was closing big deals and as a natural byproduct, earning the money. The long story short, we created a course to help you do the same. We want you to check it out. TSE Certified Sales Training Program. Find all the details. We have the first 2 modules absolutely free. Just simply go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course, and let's help you close more deals. This episode is also brought to you in part by audible.com. If you've thought about using Audible in the past, but just never did it because maybe one reason or another, or you said, well, I just don't have the money. Well, I want to debunk that right now. It's a straight up farce because that's not true because I've been there. I made the same exact excuse. But then I realized it was a nominal fee to invest in my education every single month. Come on. I started to learn from some of the greats out there. Bob Berg, Jill Conrath, David Hoffeld. I mean, there's so many great authors out there writing some amazing things about sales, and you can learn from them. It's going to help your pipeline in the long run. But to let you test it out first, just go ahead and go to audibletrial.com/TSE and you'll get a free book and a 30-day free trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/TSE. And when you test it out, come back and tell me, let me know how you enjoyed it. I know you're going to love it. Hey, we're back. We're going to dive back into the episode and listen to Kristen's experience and also her recommendations on how you can fix this. So, and I know you have a second story that a second experience. So, again, mine was, I had a friend that just had one recently where he was traveling from Florida to Utah and he had the time zone mixed up. So his flight was like 2 a.m. or 12 p.m. in Utah. So it's like, he didn't realize that it was Tuesday. So he was thinking it was Tuesday, 12 a.m. So he got to the airport at 10 a.m. He's like, I'm going 2 hours ahead. They're like, your flight left like hours ago. So we were kind enough to help him to get on another flight the next day. But man, traveling, especially the business travel, when you go to different time zones, can be a tough thing, man. Miami, you came down here to South Florida. You had another one that
yes.
Tell me about that one.
Yeah, so we went to Miami often, and again, working for a small business, we had really tight cash flow. I was very close to the owner. And so, when we stayed at hotels, they were pretty much 2-star hotels. And again, I was a young woman. I was like, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to help the company, right? I loved the job. I love the products. I love the company. We stayed at really dumpy 2-star hotels. And on one particular Miami visit, the hotel was in a not so safe area. There was duct tape on our window on the first floor. So, easily somebody could just get into our room. Well, we arrived and we had to quickly go to the trade show. So we went to the Miami Convention Center, left all of our luggage and stuff in the hotel. When we came back to the room, and again, I had to always share a room with female colleagues. That's because, again, cash flow and watching the bottom line for a small business.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't care. I was friends with these people. So we got back to the hotel and there was a boot on our door handle.
What do you mean a boot?
I've heard of like a car being boot. You've heard of like your car getting a boot on the wheel where you can't drive it. I had never seen a boot on a hotel door, you guys.
You can't open this thing. It's like booted.
You can't open it. No, it's like a child-proof door handle. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah. Have you ever, sales reps on this call, have you ever gotten booted out of your hotel room? Please tell me I'm not alone.
You got to say something on LinkedIn, guys.
Help me out here. So, we went to the front desk and I was like, what is this on our door? We just need to get into our room. And she's like, well, the hotel, the bill hasn't been paid and I guess the credit card declined. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how much is this hotel a night? It's probably like $59 a night or something. Yeah. So we went and pulled out our own personal credit card, paid for the room, and then the very next night checked ourselves out for the next morning, get us out of this hotel. So, these were the situations, like as a young female traveling, I was not put into the safest environments. And in fact, we started talking to our leadership when we would come back from trips saying, can you just let us book our own hotels? Give us the dollar amount that you want spent, even if it's $100. Like, I'll find my own safer hotel for $100 a night.
Yeah.
So that's what we started doing. And then, again, because we were young, we tried to get the hotel closest to the beach and we really didn't care at that age. But now, I'm a middle-aged woman. I care about where I stay. I want to have a safe experience when I'm traveling for business, as I'm sure all of you do too. And that kind of leads us into the product that I sell now is duty of care is so critical for companies, especially women when traveling. And I'm so lucky to be working for a company that values my safety. They know where I'm at all times because of apps and technology. If there's an emergency, they know, exactly where to find me and I can get access to a travel agent or my company to help me get out of a country, get out of a hotel that might be sketchy or whatever it might be. So
what is the tool called?
much different. So it's called SAP Concur. It's a mobile app to allow me to book my trips for business. And we service over 40 million customers worldwide. So lots of users. And some of you are on the call, you might have been familiar with the TripIt app. It's a free app to organize your trips. And that is our product. Concur's product is TripIt. So you might already use this free app that just keeps you informed if there are changes to your itinerary. As a woman, I can type in a neighborhood and I can know the safety score of that neighborhood to make sure that it's safe enough for me to walk around at night. There's LGBTQ types of notices. You want to make sure it's safe for you walking around in certain neighborhoods as well. So our tools are really amazing now to give us safety around the world and wherever we go, even for travel for leisure. I can go ahead and use my own tools to travel for vacation and stay safe when I'm not traveling for business.
That is just pretty neat. And as far as how this works, you mentioned it doesn't have to be a large organization to take benefit from this. You don't have to have enterprise capabilities.
Gosh, no. If you're on this call and you're, a medical sales rep or you have a startup, you have 3 or 4 employees traveling, anybody at your company can use Concur. In fact, I service the small business, startups, people that are 10 or under. It's very affordable. It's could be around under $100 a month for your company to use something like Concur, not only to book your travel, but then to also do your expense reports, which is a whole nother story that we could talk about for days.
Yeah. I mean, and how does that, so everyone get access to the app, or is there an admin? If you were a sales rep listening to this and they're like, dang, this sounds cool. I want to be able to use this. How would they go about getting it scheduled or start using it? Just walk me through that process now.
Yeah, so typically I work with accounting departments or leadership teams, CEOs, CFOs, controllers, VPs of sales, and they reach out to us to inquire about pricing because we have a small business package that services your entire sales team. We do have a bundled discount for everybody on your team to use Concur. So we would invite you to download the app first. Mm-hmm. After your company, of course, signs up with us. You download the app and then you connect your corporate credit card with Concur. Or if you're just using your personal money for reimbursement, you take a picture of a receipt when you're traveling for meals, for whatever you're purchasing, and it captures that receipt and it quickly pushes it to an approver and your finance team so that you can get quickly reimbursed.
That's awesome. That is so sweet and I love it. And there's an expense side you're mentioning to it, because I know the woes of doing expenses, getting all the stupid receipts and trying to keep track of them. You guys have a capability as well with Concur.
Absolutely. So in that company I mentioned traveling for in the beauty industry, I would come back from, European shows. I would fill out a spreadsheet, make copies of all my receipts, look up the reimbursement from euros to USD, and then I would literally wait weeks to get my money back. If this sounds like you, are you losing receipts? Is it hard for you to keep track of these things? And it's a pain in the butt for sales reps. We get paid to sell. We don't get paid to fill out spreadsheets. So if this sounds like something you guys might be interested in, contact me. I work in the South Florida area. If your company's there, if not, I can refer you to somebody who does service your area and essentially remove the spreadsheet. Everything's on an app, which is how we do most of our business these days anyways. You take a picture of the receipt and the rest is done for you.
That is awesome. If there's one major takeaway you'd like folks listening to this episode to walk away with, what's that one major piece of advice? Technology
is your friend. I wish I would have had it years ago traveling to Dubai and Miami. I remember in that Miami hotel, there wasn't even a computer where I could use to jump on to try to find a better hotel. This is, predating internet on your phone. So we have everything at our fingertips, you guys. We are so lucky that we can just focus on sales and everything else handles the rest on your phone. It really awesome. Is easy to use.
Well, Kristen, if people out there want to connect with you, they're blown away by Concur and the capabilities. And guys, it's a really cool tool. Got a chance to look at it myself, and I recommend you guys go back and check it out. But if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to go about doing so?
Yeah, I would say they can email me at kristen.estrada@sap.com.
Kristen.estrada@sap.com. Okay, we'll link that back in our show notes. And then also you are on LinkedIn as well. And I know you're very active there.
I am.
So we'll link back to that as well. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. You are, you truly blew us away. And again, my little wimpy story has nothing compared to your stuff. congratulations on getting home safe.
Absolutely. Thanks, Donald.
You're welcome. Man, I told you Kristen was going to deliver some amazing good stuff today. If you'd like to connect with her, go back into the show notes. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just swipe up on a cover art. You can go ahead and learn about Concur, learn about Kristen, connect with her on LinkedIn, or find all the great things we discuss in our show notes. Again, swipe up on a cover art if you're listening on Apple Podcast, or go back to our website, thesalesevangelist.com/the-word episode number 1140. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/the-word episode number 1140. I share stuff like this because I want to help you. I want you guys to be able to do amazing things. I want you to have a little bit of ease. I know traveling can be laborious, but we want to make sure it's fun for you. And we share tools like this that can help. If you haven't done so already, check out TSE Certified Sales Training Program as well as Audible. Take advantage of the free offer from Audible, a free book, and a 30-day free trial. From TSE Certified Sales Training Program, we'll give you the opportunity to take the first 2 modules absolutely free. As a team, our goal is to help you to find more ideal customers, build stronger value, close more deals. But most importantly, it's to go out each and every single day and do big things. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show today as much as I did. And if so, I ask you a little favor. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast or the fine podcast. It's greatly appreciated. People come back behind you and they see it and they gain confidence in listening to our show. I know you love it. Go ahead and do that for me. It would be greatly appreciated. Our show today was produced by myself and the Sales Podcast Network. It was edited and mixed together by the one and only Jershin O'Bale. Our content writer and show note creator is Mrs. Shannon Rasmussen. You can find audio credits to this and all of our episodes in each of the show notes. And as always, I am your host, your coach, your mentor, your guide down the sales journey, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. Sales Podcast Network.